ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Lydia Mendelssohn Theatre and tonight's performance of the Gondoliers, or the King of Baratarian. As a courtesy to other members of the audience, and abiding by the rules of the Grand Inquisitor, do turn off all cellular phones, pagers, and other handheld devices for the duration of the performance. Please do not use flash photography during the performance, as the Grand Inquisitor may again feel the need to invite you, with the help of his enforcers, to a long tour of the dungeon. Thank you. And now, in accordance with society tradition, please rise as you are able and join us in singing God Save the Queen.
Thank you. pretty maids, for whom prepare ye these floral tributes extraordinary.
For Marco and Giuseppe Palmieri, the pink and fair, of our Gondoliers, coming here, as we have heard, but vaguely to choose two brides from Macinic.
Do all you maidens love them?
Passionately!
These gondoliers are to be envied greatly.
But what of us who one and all adore you? Have pity on our passion, we implore you.
These gentlemen must rejoice before you. In the meantime, we tacitly ignore you. When they have chosen to, that leaves you plenty. 10 minutes wait, and they are half of 20. Till then, enjoy your dolce vaniente.
With pleasure, nobody contradicente. For the merriest bells are we. That fly on the emerald sea. With loving and laughing and quipping and quaffing, we're happy as happy can be. With loving and laughing and quipping and quaffing, we're happy as happy can be. With sorrow there's nothing to do. And the care is a thing to poo-poo. And jealousy, yellow, unfortunate fellow, we drown in the shimmering blue. And jealousy, yellow, unfortunate fellow, we drown in the shimmering blue.
United voice.
dance of Peri, it's quite honorary, the trade that we ply. From gallantry noted since we were short-coated, to beauty devoted, Giuseppe and I. When morning is breaking, our couches forsaking, to greet their awaking, with carols we come. At summer's day's nooning, when weary lagooning, our mandolins, when we lazily drum, our mandolins tuning, we lazily drum. Mandolins tuning, we lazily drum. Tra-la-la-la-la, when vespers are ringing, to hope ever clinging, to songs of our singing, our vigil we keep. When daylight is fading, enwrapped in night shading, with soft serenading, we sing them to sleep. So serenading, we sing them to sleep. We are Gondolieri, gondolieri, tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la. Gondolieri, gondolieri, tra-la-la-la-la, 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 tra-la-la-la-la. Choose our bride. As all are young and fair and amiable besides, we really do not care a preference to declare. A bias to disclose would be indelicate, and therefore we propose to let impartial fate select for us a mate.
A bias to disclose would be indelicate.
But how do they propose to let impartial fate select for them a mate? These handkerchiefs upon our eyes be good enough to bind,
and take good care that both of us are absolutely blind.
Then turn us round and we with all convenience dispatch we'll undertake to marry any two of you we catch.
Before they undertake to marry any two of them they catch.
Are you peeping? Can you see me?
Dark and keeping, dark and dreaming.
If you're blinded, truly say so.
All right-minded players play so.
Conduct cheating, surely they deserve a beating. This too much is maidens mocking. Conduct such is truly shocking. You can say such a shame. You can say such a shame. You can say such a shame. You can see the Lisa. That's what do now. Let it be so. That's what do now. Let it be so. My papa, he keeps 3 horses, black and white and dapple greaser. Turn 3 times and take your courses. Catch whichever girl you racer.
My papa, he keeps 3 horses, black and white and dapple gracer. Turn 3 times, then take your courses. Catch whichever girl you may, sir. My papa, he keeps 3 horses, black and white and dapple gracer.
I've at length achieved a capture. This is Tessa. Rapture, rapture.
Rapture, rapture.
To me, Gianetta, fate has granted just the very girl I wanted.
Just
if you'd rather change.
My goodness, this indeed is simple rudeness.
I've no preference whatever.
Listen to him. Well, I never. Thank you, gallant Gondoliers. In a certain form of measure, it is scarcely necessary to express our pleasure. Each of us to prove our treasure, conjugal and voluntary, gladly we devote our leisure, gallant Gondoliers. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, tra-la-la. Thank you, gallant Gondoliers. Take us both and hold us tightly. You have luck extraordinary. We might have been unsightly. Though we judge your conduct rightly, 'twas a choice involuntary. Still we thank you most politely, gay and gallant Gondoliers. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Thank you, gallant Gondoliers. In a certain form of measure, it is scarcely necessary to express our pleasure.
Fate in this has put his finger, let us vow to wage decree. Then no longer let us linger to the altar hurry we. La-la, 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 la-la.
From the sunny Spanish shore, the Duke of Plaza-Toro,
And his Grace's Duchess too.
And his Grace's daughter too.
And his Grace's private crown to Venetia's shores have come, to Venetia's shores have come.
And if ever they get back to Spain, they will never cross the sea again. They will never cross the sea again.
neither that grandee from the Spanish shore, the noble Duke of Plaza-Toro,
Nor his Grace's Duchess staunch and true.
You may add his Grace's daughter too.
Nor his Grace's own particular drum to Venetia's shores will come, to Venetia's shores will come.
Ever they get back to Spain, they will never cross the sea again. They will never cross the sea again. They will never cross the sea again.
At last, we have arrived at our destination. This is the Ducal Palace, and it is here that the Grand Inquisitor resides. As a Castilian Hidalgo of 95 quarterings, I regret that I am unable to pay my state visit on a horse. As a Castilian Hidalgo of that description, I should have preferred to ride through the streets of Venice. But, owing, I presume, to an unusually wet season, the streets are in such a condition that equestrian exercise is impracticable. No matter. Where is our suite?
Your Grace, I am here.
Why do you not do yourself the honor to kneel when you address His Grace?
My love, it is so small a matter. Still, you may as well do it.
The young man seems to entertain but an imperfect appreciation of the respect due from a menial to a Castilian Hidalgo.
My child, you are hard upon our suite.
Papa, I've no patience with the presumption of persons in his plebeian position. If he does not appreciate that position, let him be whipped until he does.
Let us hope the omission was not intended as a slight. I should be much hurt if I thought it was. So would he. Where are the halberdiers who were to have had the honor of meeting us here, that our visits to the Grand Inquisitor might be paid in becoming state?
Your Grace, the halberdiers are mercenary people who stipulated for a trifle on account.
How tiresome. Well, let us hope the Grand Inquisitor is a blind gentleman. And the band, who were to have had the honor of escorting us. I see no band!
Your Grace, the band are sordid persons who required to be paid in advance.
That's so like a band.
Insuperable difficulties meet me at every turn.
But surely they know His Grace.
Exactly. They know His Grace.
Well, let us hope that the Grand Inquisitor is a deaf gentleman. A cornea piston would be something. You do not happen to possess the accomplishment of tootling like a cornea piston.
Alas, no, Your Grace. But I can imitate a farmyard.
I don't see how that would help us. I don't see how we could bring it in.
It would not help us in the least. We are not a parcel of grazers come to market dolt.
My love, our sweet's feelings. Be so good as to ring the bell and inform the Grand Inquisitor that His Grace the Duke of Plaza-Toro, a Count Matadoro, a Baron Picadoro,
And sweet.
and sweet have arrived at Venice and seek
Desire.
Demand.
and demand an audience.
Your Grace is but to command.
I felt sure of it, I felt sure of it. And now, my love, shall we tell her I think so? And now, my love, prepare for a magnificent surprise. It is my agreeable duty to reveal to you a secret which should make you the happiest young lady in Venice.
A secret.
A secret which, for state reasons, it has been necessary to preserve for 20 years.
When you were a prattling babe of 6 months old, you were married by proxy to no less a personage than the infant son and heir of His Majesty, the immeasurably wealthy King of Berteria.
Married to the infant son of the King of Berteria. Was I consulted? Then it was a most unpardonable liberty.
Consider his extreme youth and forgive him. Shortly after the ceremony, that misguided monarch abandoned the creed of his forefathers and became a Wesleyan Methodist of the most bigoted and persecuting type. The Grand Inquisitor determined that the innovation should not be perpetuated in Berteria, caused your smiling and unconscious husband to be stolen and conveyed to Venice. A fortnight since, the Methodist monarch and all his Wesleyan court were killed in an insurrection. And we are here to ascertain the whereabouts of your husband and to hail you, our daughter, as Her Majesty, the reigning Queen of Barataria.
Your Majesty.
It is at such moments as these that one feels how necessary it is to travel with a full band.
I, the Queen of Barataria? But I've nothing to wear! We're practically penniless!
That point has not escaped me. Although I am unhappily in straitened circumstances at present, my social influence is something enormous, and a company to be called the Duke of Plaza-Toro Limited is in course of formation to work me. An influential directorate has been secured, and I shall myself join the board after allotment.
Am I to understand that the Queen of Barataria may be called upon at any time to witness her honored sire in process of liquidation?
The speculation is not exempt from that drawback. If your father should stop, it would of course be necessary to wind him up.
But it's so undignified. It's so degrading. A grandee of Spain turned into a public company. Such a thing was never heard of.
My child, the Duke of Plaza-Toro does not follow fashions. He leads them. He always leads everybody. When he was in the army, he led his regiment. He occasionally led them into action. He invariably led them out of it.
Oh.
In enterprise of a martial kind, when there was any fighting, he led his regiment from behind. He found it less exciting. But when away his regiment ran, his place was at the Foro. That celebrated, cultivated, underrated nobleman, the Duke of Plaza-Toro. In the first and foremost fight, you always found that night. That celebrated, cultivated, underrated nobleman, the Duke of Plaza-Toro. When to evade destruction's pant, to hide they all proceeded. No soldier in that gallant band hid half as well as he did. He lay concealed throughout the war and so preserved his glory. That undefeated, undetected, well-connected warrior, the Duke of Plaza-Toro. In every doughty deed, he always took the lead. That undefeated, undetected, well-connected warrior, the Duke of Plaza-Toro. When told that they would all be shot unless they left the service, that hero hesitated not, so marvelous his love is. He sent his resignation in the first of all his quarrel, that very knowing, overflowing, easygoing paladin, the Duke of Plaza-Toro. To men of cross and gay, he always showed the way. That very knowing, overflowing, easygoing paladin, the Duke of Plaza-Toro. That very knowing, overflowing, easygoing paladin, the Duke of Plaza-Toro.
Masquerade.
you said? What have I done? What have I allowed you to do?
Nothing. I trust that you will ever have reason to repent.
Nay, Luiz, it may not be. I have embraced you for the last time.
Casilda!
I have just learned, to my surprise and indignation, that I was wed in babyhood to the infant son of the King of Barataria.
The son of the King of Barataria? The child who was stolen in infancy by the insurrection?
The same. But of course you know his story.
Know his story? Why, I have often told you that my mother was the nurse to whose charge he was entrusted.
True. I had forgotten. Well, he has been discovered, and my father has brought me here to claim his hand.
But you will not recognize this marriage? It took place when you were too young to understand its import.
Nay, Luiz, respect my principles and cease to torture me with vain entreaties. Henceforth, my life is another's.
But stay. The present and the future, they are another's. But the past, that at least is ours, and none can take it from us. As we may revel in naught else, let us revel in that.
I don't think I grasp your meaning.
Yet it is logical enough. You say you ceased to love me?
I say I may not love you.
But you do not say you did not love me.
I loved you with a frenzy that words are powerless to express, and that but 10 brief minutes since.
Exactly. My own. That is, until 10 minutes since, my own. My lately loved, my recently adored, tell me that, say, until a quarter of an hour ago, I was all in all to thee.
I see your idea. It's ingenious, but don't do that!
There can be no harm in reveling in the past.
None whatever, but an embrace cannot be taken to act retrospectively.
Perhaps not.
We may recollect an embrace. I recollect many. But we must not repeat them.
Then let us recollect a few. Casilda, you were to me as the sun is to the earth.
A quarter of an hour ago.
About that.
And to think that, but for this miserable discovery, you would have been my own for life.
Through life and death, a quarter of an hour ago.
How greedily my thirsty ears would have drunk the golden melody of those sweet words a quarter... Well, now it's about 20 minutes since.
About that. In such a matter, one cannot be too precise.
And now our love, so full of life, is but a silent, solemn memory.
Must it be so, Casilda?
Luiz, it must be so.
There was a time forever gone. It was no crime to love but thee alone. Woe is me. One heart, one life, one soul, one aim, one goal. Each in each other's thrall, each all in all.
Peri,
bury love that's uncondemned,
and let the whirlwind mourn its requiem. Its
My child, allow me to present to you his distinction, Don Alhambra del Bolero, the Grand Inquisitor of Spain. It was his distinction who so thoughtfully abstracted your infant husband and brought him here.
So this is the little lady who is so unexpectedly called upon to assume the functions of royalty. And a very nice little lady, too.
Jimp, isn't she?
Distinctly, Jimp. Allow me. Naughty temper.
You must make some allowance. Her Majesty's head is a little turned by her access of dignity.
I could have wished Her Majesty's access of dignity had turned it in this direction.
Unfortunately, if I am not mistaken, there seems to be some little doubt as to His Majesty's whereabouts.
A doubt as to his whereabouts. Then we may yet be saved.
A doubt? Oh dear, no. No doubt at all. He is here in Venice, plying the modest but picturesque calling of a gondolier. I can give you his address. I see him every day. In the entire annals of our history, there is no circumstance so entirely free from all manner of doubt of any kind whatever. Listen, and I'll tell you all about it. I stole the prince and I brought him here, and I left him gaily prattling with a highly respectable gondolier who promised the royal babe to rear and teach her the trade of a time or near with his own beloved prattling. Both of the babes were strong and stout, and considering all things clever, of that there is no manner of doubt, no probable possible shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever.
No possible doubt whatever.
But owing I'm much disposed to fear to his terrible taste for tippling, that highly respectable gondolier could never declare with a mind sincere which of the two was his offspring dear, and which the royal stripling. Which was which he could never make out, despite his best endeavor. Of that there is no manner of doubt, no probable possible shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever.
No possible doubt whatever.
Time sped, and when at the end of a year I sought that infant cherished, that highly respectable gondolier was lying a corpse on his humble bier, I dropped a grand inquisitor's tear. That gondolier had perished. A taste for drink combined with gout had doubled him up forever. Of that there is no manner of doubt, no probable possible shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever.
No possible doubt whatever.
The two boys followed his old career, the statement can't be parried. Of a highly respectable gondolier, well, one of the two will soon be here, but which of the two it is not quite clear is the royal prince you married. Search in and out and round about, and you'll discover never a tale so free from every doubt, all probable possible shadow of doubt, all possible doubt whatever.
A tale so free from every doubt, all probable possible shadow of doubt, all possible doubt whatever.
Then do you mean to say that I'm married to one of two gondoliers, but it is impossible to say which?
Without any doubt of any kind whatever. But be reassured, for the nurse who took care of the royal child is the mother of the musical young man who is such a past master at that delicately modulated instrument. She can identify the king's identity beyond all question.
Good heavens, how did he know that?
My good friend, a Grand Inquisitor is always up to date. His mother is at present the wife of a highly respectable and old-established brigand who has an extensive practice in the mountains around Cordova. With two of my emissaries, he will leave at once for his mother's address. She will return with him, and if she has any trouble making up her mind, the persuasive influence of the torture chamber can jog her memory.
But bless my heart, consider my position. I am the wife of one, that's very clear. But who can tell, except my intuition, which is the prince and which the gondolier?
Submit to fate without unseemly wrangle. Such complications frequently occur. Life is one closely complicated tangle. Death is the only true unraveler.
Try we lifelong, we can never straighten out life's tangled skein. Why should we in vain endeavor guess and guess and guess again?
Life's a pudding full of plums.
Care's a canker that benumbs.
Life's a pudding full of plums. Care's a canker that benumbs. Wherefore waste of elocution on impossible solution. Life's a pleasant institution. Let us take it as it comes. Let us take it as it comes. Set aside the dull enigma. We shall guess it all too soon. Fail your bridges, narrow streams, and dreams of the gods in the sea.
May, May, all the year is merry,
And now our lives are going to begin in real earnest. What's a bachelor? He's a mere nothing. He's a chrysalis. He can't be said to live. He exists.
Oh, what a delightful institution marriage is. Why have we wasted all this time? Why didn't we get married 10 years ago?
Because you couldn't find anybody nice enough. Because you were waiting for us.
I suppose that was the reason. We were waiting for you without even knowing it. Hello?
Good morning.
If this gentleman is an undertaker, it's a bad omen.
Ceremony of some sort going on.
He is an undertaker. No, just a little unimportant family gathering. Nothing in your line.
A birthday, someone's birthday perhaps?
Yes, mine.
And mine.
Curious coincidence. And how old may you all be?
It's a rude question, but about 10 minutes.
Remarkably fine children. But surely you are jesting.
In other words, we've been married about 10 minutes since.
Married? You don't mean to say you are married?
Yes, we are married.
What, both of you?
All four of us.
This is extremely awkward.
You don't mind, I suppose. You weren't thinking of one of us for yourself, I presume. Oh, Giuseppe, look at him. He's heartbroken.
No, I wasn't.
Now, my man, we don't want anything in your line today, so if your curiosity is satisfied, you may go.
You mustn't call me your man. It's a liberty. I don't think you know who I am.
Not we indeed. We are jolly gondoliers, the sons of Baptista Palmieri, who led the last revolution. Republicans, heart and soul, we hold all men to be equal. As we abhor oppression, we abhor kings. As we detest vainglory, we detest rank. As we despise luxury, we despise wealth. We are Venetian gondoliers, your equals in everything except our calling, and at once your masters and your servants.
Bless my heart, how unfortunate. One of you may be Baptisto's son, for anything I know to the contrary, but the other is no less than the only son of the late King of Barataria.
What?
And I trust it was that one who slapped me on the shoulder and called me his man.
One of us a
Who'd
king?
have
Not
thought?
brothers. But which is it?
Well, what does it matter, as you are both Republicans and hold kings in detestation? Of course you'll abdicate at once. Good morning.
Well, as to that, of course there are kings and there are kings. When I say I detest kings, I mean I detest bad kings.
I see, it's a delicate distinction.
Quite so. Now, I can conceive a kind of king, an ideal king, the creature of my fancy, you know, who would be absolutely unobjectionable. A king, for instance, who would abolish taxes and make everything cheap except gondolas.
And give a great many free entertainment to the gondoliers.
And set off fireworks on the Grand Canal and enlist all the gondolas for the occasion.
And scramble money on the Rialto among the gondoliers.
Such a king would be a blessing to his people. And if I were a king, that is the sort of king that I would be.
And so would I.
Come, I'm glad that your objections are not insuperable.
Oh, no, they're not insuperable.
Besides, we're open to conviction.
Yes, they are open to conviction. Oh, they've often been convicted.
Our views may have been hastily formed on insufficient grounds. They may have been crude, ill-digested, erroneous. I have a very poor opinion of the politician who is not open to conviction.
No, he's a fine fellow. Oh, yes, that's the sort of politician for my money.
So we'll consider it settled. Now, as the country is in a state of insurrection, it is absolutely imperative that you pick up the reins of government at once. And until it is ascertained which of you is to be king, I have arranged that you shall rule jointly, so that no objections can come hereafter as to the validity of any of your acts.
As one individual?
As one individual.
Like this?
Something like that.
And we can give our friends places about the court?
Undoubtedly. That's always done.
I'm convinced.
So am I.
Then the sooner we're off, the better. Yes, we'll just go home and pack up a few things.
Wait, this won't do at all. Ladies are not admitted.
What?
Not admitted. Not at present. Afterwards, perhaps. We'll see.
Why, you don't mean to say you're going to separate us from our wives?
This is very unfortunate. Only for a time? A little while, a few months. After all, what is a few months?
But we've only been married half an hour. Kind sir, you cannot have the heart our lives to part from those to whom an hour ago we united. From our flowing hope you stem, I'll look at them and pause before you deal this blow uninvited. You men can never understand that heart and hand cannot be separated when we go uniting. You say you've only woman's eyes to idolize, and only woman's hearts were meant to set you burning. Oh, me, you men will never understand that woman's heart is one with woman's hand. Some kind of charm you seem to find in womankind, some kind of unexplained delight in lest jesting. But what attracts you, I confess, I cannot guess. To me, a woman's face is quite uninteresting. If from my sister I were torn, it could be borne. I would no doubt be horrified, but I could bear it. But Marco's quite another thing. He is my king, he has my heart and none besides shall ever share it. Oh, me, you men will never understand that woman's heart is one with woman's hand.
Do not despair at this untimely meeting. Your separations will be very brief. To ascertain which is the king and which the other, to Baratavia's court I'll bring his foster mother. Her former nursling to declare she'll be delighted. That's settled. Let each happy pair be reunited.
Viva! His argument is strong. Viva! We'll not be parted long. Viva! It will be settled soon. Viva! Then comes our honeymoon. Viva! Viva! Viva!
Then one of us will be of queen and sit on a golden throne, with a crown instead of a hat on her head and diamonds all her own. With a beautiful robe of gold and green, I have always understood. I wonder whether she'd wear a feather. I rather think she should.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing, I ween, to be a regular royal queen. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but a right down regular royal queen.
She'll drive about with a carriage and pair with a king on her left-hand side, with a milk-white horse as a matter of course whenever she wants to ride, with beautiful silver shoes to wear upon her dainty feet, with endless stocks of beautiful frocks, and as much as she wants to eat.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing, I ween, to be a regular royal queen. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but a great and regular royal queen.
Whenever she condescends to walk, be sure she'll shine at that, with a haughty step and a nose in the air, like a well-born aristocrat. At elegant high society talk, she'll bear away the bell, with a how d'ye do and a how are you, and I trust I see you well.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing, I ween, to be a regular royal queen. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but right down regular royal queen.
And noble lords will scrape and bow and double themselves in two, and open their eyes in blank surprise at whatever she likes to do. And everybody will roundly vow she's fair as flowers in May, and say how clever at whatsoever she condescends to say.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing, I ween, to be a regular royal queen. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but right down regular royal queen. Oh, 'tis a glorious thing, I ween, to be a regular royal queen. A right down regular royal is the cause of this remarkable hilarity, the solemn emulation of unmitigated jollity. Has anybody blessed you with the sample of his charity, or have you been adopted by a gentleman of quality?
Replying we sing as one individual, as I tell I'm a king to my kingdom I bid you all. I'm a where I object to pavilions and palaces, but you'll find I respect your republican fallacies. You'll find I respect your republican fallacies.
We object to pavilions and palaces. How can they respect our republican fallacies?
For every one who feels inclined some post we undertake to find congenial with his frame of mind, and all shall equal be.
The Chancellor and his peruke, the Earl, the Marquis and the Duke, the groom, the butler and the cook, they all shall equal be.
The aristocrat who banks with coots, the aristocrat who hunts and shoots, the aristocrat who cleans our boots, they all shall equal be.
The noble lord who rules the state, the noble lord who cleans the plate,
the noble lord who scrubs the grates, they all shall equal be.
The Lord High Bishop of the Docks, the Lord High Coachman on the box,
the Lord High Vagabonding the stocks, they all shall equal be. For every one who feels inclined some post we undertake to find congenial with his frame of mind, congenial with his frame of mind, and all shall equal be. Sing high, sing low, wherever they go. Sing high, sing low, wherever they go. Wherever they go, wherever they go, they all shall equal be.
Sing high, sing low, wherever they go. Sing high, sing low, wherever they go. Wherever they go, wherever they go, they all shall equal be. The old twist and the everyone who feels inclined, suppose they undertake to find
crown awaits me. Conflicting feelings rend my soul apart. The thought of royal dignity elates me, but leaving thee behind me breaks my heart.
Farewell, my love, on board you must be getting, but while upon the sea you gaily roam, remember that our heart for thee is fretting, that tender little heart you've left at home. Now, Marco, dear, my wish is here while you're away. It's understood you will be good and not too gay. To every trace of maiden grace you will be blind, and will not glance by any chance on womankind. If you are wise, you'll shut your eyes till we arrive, and not address a lady less than 45. You'll please to frown on every gown that you may see, and I pet you not forget you've married me. Oh, my darling, oh, my pet, my tender Elsa, may forget in yonder I'll be on the sea. Do not forget you've married me. You'll lay your head upon your bed at set of sun. You will not sing of anything to anyone. You'll sit and mope all day, I hope, and shed a tear upon the life your little wife is passing here. And if so be you think of me, please tell the moon. I'll read it all and raise it for the Malagoon. You'll be so kind as tell the wind how you may be, and send me words by little birds to comfort me. And oh, my darling, oh, my pet, whatever else you may forget, in yonder I'll be on the sea. Do not forget you've married me.
Will not forget we married ye. Oh, my darling, oh, my pet, in yonder I'll be on the sea. Do not forget we've married ye.
equality. Of happiness, the very king, the Italian you may see. Of monarchy, a temple with Republican equality. Republican equality. Two kings of undue pride bereft who act in perfect unity, whom you can order right and left with absolute impunity, who put their subjects at their ease by doing all they can to please, and thus to earn their bread and cheese seize every opportunity, and thus to earn their bread and cheese seize every opportunity. We act in perfect unity. We act in perfect unity. Of happiness, the very king, the mad Italian you may see. Of monarchy, that's tempered with Republican equality. Republican equality, tempered with equality. Gentlemen, we are much obliged to you for your expressions of satisfaction and good feeling. Gentlemen, I say, we are much obliged to you for your expressions of satisfaction and good feeling.
We heard you.
At any risk, we wish to fall in with sentiments so charmingly expressed.
That's all right.
At the same time, there is just one little grievance we should like to ventilate.
What?
Don't be alarmed, it's not serious. Until it is ascertained which of us two is the actual king, we are to act as one person.
Exactly.
Now, although we act as one person, we are, in point of fact, two persons.
Oh, I don't think we can get into that. It's a legal fiction. And legal fictions are solemn things. Well, situated as we are, we can't recognize two independent possibilities.
No, but you can recognize two independent appetites. It's all very well to say that we act as one person, but when you supply us with only one ration between the two of us, I should describe it as a legal fiction carried a little too far.
It's a rather nice point. I don't like to express an opinion offhand. Suppose we... reserve it for argument before the full court.
Yes, but what are we to do in the meantime?
We want our tea. I think I may make an interim order for double rations on their majesties entering into the usual undertaking to indemnify in the event of an adverse decision.
That, I think, will meet the case, but you must work hard. Stick to it. Nothing like work.
Well, certainly. We quite understand that a man who holds the magnificent position of king should do something to justify it. We are called Your Majesty. We are allowed to buy ourselves magnificent clothes. Our subjects frequently nod to us in the streets, the sentries always return our salutes, and we enjoy the inestimable privilege of heading the subscription lists to all the principal charities. In return for these advantages, the least we can do is make ourselves useful about the palace. Rising early in the morning, we proceed to light the fire. Then our Majesty, adorning in its work-a-day attire, we embark without delay on the duties of the day. First, we polish off some batches of political dispatches and foreign politicians circumvent. Then if business isn't heavy, we may hold a royal levy or ratify some acts of parliament. Then we probably review the household troops. with the usual shalahumps and shalahoops, or receive with ceremonial and state an interesting Eastern potentate. After that we generally go and dress a private valley. It's a rather nervous duty, he's a touchy little man. Write some letters literary for our private secretary. He is shaky in his spelling, so we help him if we can. Then in view of cravings inner, we go down and order dinner. Then we polish the regalia and the coronation plate. Spend an hour in titivating all our gentlemen in waiting. Then we run on little errands for the ministers of state. Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of the king, but the duties are delightful and the privilege is great. And the privilege and pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is to run on little errands for the ministers of state.
Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of the king, but the duties are delightful and the privilege is great. But the privilege and pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is to run on little errands for the ministers of state.
After luncheon making merry on a bun and glass of sherry, if we've nothing in particular to do, we may make a proclamation or receive a deputation. Then we possibly create a peer or two. Then we help a fellow creature on his path with the garter or the thistle or the bath. Then we dress and toddle off in semi-state to a festival, a function, or a fete. Then we go and stand a sentry at the palace, private entry, marching hither, up and down and to and fro, while the warrior on duty goes in search of beer and beauty, and it generally happens that he hasn't far to go. He relieves us if he's able, just in time to lay the table. Then we dine and serve the coffee, and at 12:30 or 1, with a pleasure that's emphatic, we retire to our attic with the gratifying feeling that our duty has been done. Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of the king, but the pleasures there are many, and of worries there are none. And the culminating pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is the gratifying feeling that our duty has been done.
Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of the king, but the pleasures there are many, and of worries there are none. But the culminating pleasure that we treasure beyond measure
is the gratifying feeling that our duty has been done. Yes, it really is a very pleasant existence. You don't find them wanting to do this or wanting to do that or saying, it's my turn now. They're all so singularly kind and considerate. Oh, they let us have all the fun to ourselves and never seem to grudge it.
It almost makes one feel quite selfish. Almost like taking advantage of their good nature.
How, nice they were about the double rations.
Most considerate. Ah, there's only one thing wanting to make us thoroughly comfortable.
And that is?
The dear little wives we left behind us 3 months ago.
Ah, yes. It is dull without female society. We can do without everything else, but we can't do without that.
Yes, if we have that, we have everything. There's only one recipe for perfect happiness. Take a pair of sparkling eyes, hidden ever and anon in a merciful eclipse. Do not heed their mild surprise, having passed the Rubicon. Take a pair of rosy lips. Take a figure trimly planned, such as admiration wet. Be particular in this. Take a tender little hand, fringed with dainty fingerette. Press it, in parenthesis. Take all these, you lucky man. Take and keep them if you can. If you can, take all these, you lucky man. Take and keep them if you can. If you can. Take a pretty little court, quite a miniature affair, hung about with trellised vine. Furnish it upon the spot with treasures rich and rare, I've endeavored to define. Live to love and love to live, you will ripen at your ease, growing on the sunny side. Fate has nothing more to give. You're a dainty man to please. If you're not satisfied, take my counsel, happy man. Act upon it if you can. Take my counsel, happy man. Act upon it if you can. Take my counsel, happy man. Act upon it if you can. Take my counsel if you can. Happy man, if you most delightful surprise.
Yes, we thought you'd like it. You see, it was like this. After you left, we felt very dull and mopey, and the days crawled by, and you never wrote. So, at last I said to Janetta, I can't stand this any longer. Those two poor monarchs have no one to mend their stockings or sew their buttons or patch their clothes. At least, I hope they haven't. Let us all pack up a change and go and see how they're getting along. And she said done, and they all said done. And we asked old Jacopo to lend us his boat, and he said done. And now we've crossed the sea, and thank goodness that's done. And now we're here, and I've done. And now, which one of you is going to be king, and which one of us is queen?
That we shan't know until Nurse turns up. But never mind that. The question is, how are we going to celebrate the commencement of our honeymoon? Gentlemen, will you allow us to offer you a magnificent banquet?
We will!
Thanks very much. And ladies, what do you say to a dance?
A banquet and a dance? Oh, it's too much happiness.
Let's all Bolero, Bolero, Series, Chickens, and Montero. Like wedding comes in a pumpkins and dances, the reckless delight of that wildest of dances. To the pitter patter, and the clitter clatter. Oh, Series and Chickens and Montero, for wine when it comes in abundance. It answers the reckless delight of that flawless of dances and wellness of dances, the reckless delight. Dance on the sugar, Vander, Bolero, Series and Chickens and Montero. Wine when it comes in abundance, it answers the reckless delight of that flawless of dances. Oh, Series and Chickens and when it comes in abundance, enhances the reckless delight of that wildest of dances, the reckless delight of that wildest of
Fancy ball?
No, just a little friendly dance, that's all. Sorry you're late.
But I saw a groom dancing and a footman.
Ah, yes, that's the Lord High Footman.
Dear me, a common little drummer boy.
Oh no, that's the Lord High Drummer Boy.
But surely the servants' hall is the place for these gentry.
Oh, certainly not. We have appropriated the servants' hall. It's the royal apartment, and accessible only by tickets obtainable at the Lord Chamberlain's office.
We really must have some place we could call our own.
I'm afraid I'm not quite equal to the intellectual pressure of this conversation.
You see, the monarchy has been remodeled on Republican principles.
What?
All departments rank equally, and everybody is at the head of his department.
I see.
I'm afraid you're annoyed.
No, I won't say that. It's not quite what I expected.
Well, I'm awfully sorry.
Me too.
By the by, can I offer you anything after your voyage? A plate of macaroni and a rusk?
No, nothing.
Obliged to be careful?
Yes, gout. Now, you see, in every court there are distinctions that must be observed.
There are there?
Well, of course. For instance, you wouldn't see a Lord High Chancellor play leapfrog with his own cook.
Why not?
Why not? Because a Lord High Chancellor is a person of great dignity, who should never, under any circumstances, put himself in the position of being told to tuck in his tuppenny by anybody other than a nobleman of his own rank. A Lord High Archbishop, for instance, might tell a Lord High Chancellor to tuck in his tuppenny, but certainly not a cook, gentlemen. Certainly not a cook.
Not even a Lord High Cook?
My good friend, that is a rank that's not admitted at the bar. But well, I'll give you an example of an instance in which all of this was tried. There lived a king, as I've been told, in the wonder-working days of old, when hearts were twice as good as gold, and 20 times as mellow. Good temper triumphed in his face, and in his heart he found a place for all the erring human race, and every wretched fellow. When he had Rhenish wine to drink, it made him very sad to think that some at junket or at jink must be content with toddy.
With toddy must be content with toddy.
He wished all men as rich as he, and he was rich as rich can be. So to the top of every tree promoted everybody.
Now that's the kind of king for me, who wished all men as rich as he. So to the top of every tree promoted everybody.
Lord Chancellors were cheap as sprats, and bishops in their shovel hats were plentiful as tabby cats, in point of fact too many. Ambassadors cropped up like hay, prime ministers and such as they grew like asparagus in May, and dukes were 3 a penny. On every side field marshals gleamed, small Britier with Lord Lieutenants teamed, with admirals the ocean teamed, all round his wide dominions.
With admirals all round his wide dominions.
And country leaders in each street, in 2s or 3s in every street, maintaining with no little heat their various opinions.
Now that's a sight you couldn't beat, 2 party leaders in each street, maintaining with no little heat their various opinions.
That the Prince, although no one denies his heart was of abnormal size, yet he'd have acted otherwise if he had been acuter. The end is easily foretold when every blessed thing you hold is made of silver or of gold. You long for simple pewter. When you have nothing else to wear but cloth of gold and satins rare, with cloth of gold you'll cease to care. Up goes the price of shoddy.
Of shoddy, up goes the price of shoddy.
In short, whoever you may be, to this conclusion you'll agree. When everyone is somebody, then no one's anybody.
Now that's as plain can be. To this conclusion we agree. When everyone is somebody, then no one's anybody.
And now, I have some important news to communicate. His Grace, the Duke of Plaza-Toro, Her Grace, the Duchess, and their beautiful daughter Casilda. I say their beautiful daughter Casilda.
We heard you.
Have arrived in Barataria and will be here at any moment.
The Duke and Duchess are nothing to us.
But the daughter, the beautiful daughter. Aha! Oh, you're a lucky dog, one of you.
I think you're a very incomprehensible old gentleman.
Not a bit. I'll explain. Many years ago, when you, whichever you are, was just a baby, you, whichever you are, was married to a little girl who has grown up to be the most beautiful young lady in Spain. That beautiful young lady will be here to claim you, whichever you are, in half an hour. And I congratulate that one with all my heart, whichever it is.
Married when a baby?
But we were married 3 months ago.
One of you, only one. The other, whichever it is an unintentional bigamist.
Well, upon my word!
Who are these?
Who are we? Why, they're wives, of course.
Oh,
We've
dear.
just arrived.
This is extremely awkward. Dear me, this complicates matters. Dear, what will Her Majesty say?
Do you mean to say that one of these monarchs were already married?
And that neither of us is queen?
That is the idea I intended to convey.
Oh, Tessa, my dear, dear child.
Get away, perhaps it's you.
Oh, my poor, poor little woman.
Don't! Who knows whose husband you are?
And pray, why didn't you tell us about it before they left Venice?
Because if I had, there's no earthly temptation would have persuaded these two gentlemen to leave two such extremely fascinating and utterly irresistible little ladies.
There's something in that.
But I may mention that you will not be kept long in suspense, as the old lady who nursed the royal child is at present in the torture chamber waiting for me to interview her.
Poor old girl. Hadn't you better go and put her out of her suspense?
Oh, no, there's no hurry. She's all right. She's got all the illustrated papers. However, I will go and interview her. And meantime, may I suggest the utter propriety of you two behaving yourselves as single young ladies?
Well, here's a pleasant state of things.
Delightful. One of us is married to 2 young ladies, and nobody knows which, and one of us is married to one young lady whom nobody can identify.
And one of us is married to one of you, and the other is married to nobody.
Which one of us is married to which one of you, and what's to become of the other?
It's quite simple. Observe. 2 husbands have managed to acquire 3 wives. 3 wives, 2 husbands, that's about 2/3 of a husband to each wife.
Oh, Mount Vesuvius, here we are in arithmetic. My good sir, one can't marry a vulgar fraction.
You've no right to call me a vulgar fraction. Things are getting mixed. The situation is getting entangled. Let's try to comb it out ourselves.
In a contemplative fashion and a tranquil frame of mind, free from every kind of passion, some solution let us find. Let us grasp the situation, solve the complicated plot. Quiet, calm deliberation disentangles every knot.
I no doubt Giuseppe wedded, that's of course a slice of luck. He is rather dunder-headed, but distinctly he's a duck.
I a victim to of Cupid, my lord, that is clear. He's particularly stupid, still distinctly he's a dear.
To Giannetta I was mated, I can prove it in a trice. Though her charms are overrated, still I hold she's rather nice.
I to Tessa willy-nilly all at once a victim fell. She is what is called a silly, still she answers pretty well. She's a silly, still she answers pretty well.
Now when we were pretty babies, someone married us, that's clear.
And if I can catch her, I'll pinch her and scratch her and send her away with a flea in her ear.
That young lady married to receive her can't refuse.
If I ever take her a warrant, I'll make her to shake in her aristocratical.
If she's married to Giuseppe, he will have to hold.
If I have to do it, I'll warn Strowe, I'll teach her to marry the man of my heart. If she marries some Marco, you're a spinster.
If I could get at her, I doubt if her brother will know her again.
To Gianetta,
I to taste a willy nilly king of Christ, for the children overlate, till I take as a steady, she's till she answers pretty well. Quiet, calm, deliberation disentangles every knot.
That His Grace, the Duke of Plaza-Toro, Limited, has arrived at Barataria and begs...
Demands.
And demands an audience. And now, my child, prepare to receive the husband to whom you were united under such interesting and romantic circumstances.
But which is it? There are two of them.
It is true that at present His Majesty is a double gentleman, but as soon as the circumstances of his marriage are ascertained, he will ipso facto boil down to a single gentleman, thus presenting a unique example of an individual who becomes a single man and a married man by the same operation.
I have known instances in which the characteristics of both conditions have existed concurrently in the same individual.
He couldn't have been a Plaza-Toro.
Oh, couldn't he, though?
Well, whatever happens, I shall of course be a dutiful wife, but I can never love my husband.
Oh, I don't know. It's extraordinary what unprepossessing people one can love, if one gives one's mind to it.
I loved your father.
My love. That remark is a little hard, I think. Rather cruel, perhaps. Somewhat uncalled for, I venture to believe.
It was very difficult, my dear. But I said to myself, that man is a duke. I will love him. Several of my relations bet me that I couldn't, but I did, desperately. On the day that I was wedded to your admirable sire, I acknowledge that I dreaded an explosion of his ire. I was overcome with panic, for his temper was volcanic, but I didn't dare revolt, for I feared a thunderbolt. I was always very wary, for his fury was ecstatic, his refined vocabulary most unpleasantly emphatic. To the thunder of his slaughter, I knocked under like a martyr. When intently he was fuming, I was gently unassuming. When reviling me completely, I was smiling very sweetly. I was smiling very sweetly, giving him the very best and getting back the very worst. That's how I tried to tame a great progenitor at first, giving him the very best and getting back the very worst. That's how I tried to tame a great progenitor at first. But I found that a reliance on my threatening appearance, and a resolute defiance of my right to interference, and a gentle intimation of my firm determination to see what I could do to be wife and husband too, was the only thing required for to make his temper supple, and you couldn't have desired a more reciprocating couple, ever willing to be one. We were building one. We did sequel reunited, we were equally delighted. We were equally delighted. So we double-shotted guns and colours and made it to the mess. I tamed your insignificant progenitor at once. So we double-shotted guns and colours and nailed it to the mast. I tamed your insignificant progenitor.
Into, he will repudiate the contract altogether.
Shady! A nobleman, shady, who is blazing in the lustre of unaccustomed pocket money. A nobleman, shady, who can look back upon 95 quarterings. It is not every nobleman who is 95 quarters in arrears. I mean, who can look back upon 95 of them. And this, just as I have been floated at a premium. Oh, fie!
Surely, your Majesty is unaware that directly your Majesty's father appeared before the public, he was applied for over and over again.
My dear, Her Majesty's father was in the habit of being applied for over and over again, and very urgently applied for too, long before he was registered under the Limited Liability Act. To help unhappy commoners and add to their enjoyment, affords a man of noble rank congenial employment. Of our attempts we offer you examples illustrative. The work is light, and I may add, it's most remunerative. Small titles and orders for mayors and recorders I get, and they're highly delighted.
They're highly delighted.
MPs baroneted, sham colonels gazetted, and second-rate aldermen knighted.
Yes, aldermen knighted.
Foundation stone laying I find very paying. It adds a large sum to my makings.
Large sum to his makings.
At charity dinners, the best of speech spinners, I get 10% of the takings.
1/10 of the takings. I present any lady whose conduct is shady, or slacking of doubtful propriety.
Doubtful propriety.
When virtue and quasher I take in what washer, and launch her in first-rate society.
First-rate society.
I recommend acres of clumsy dressmakers, their fit and their finishing touches.
Their finishing touches.
A sum in addition they pay for permission to say that they make for the Duchess.
They make for the Duchess. Those pressing prevailers, the ready-made tailors, quote me as their great double barrel.
Their great double barrel.
I allow them to do so, though Robinson Crusoe would jib at their wearing apparel.
Such wearing apparel.
I sit by selection upon the direction of several companies' bubble.
All companies bubble.
As soon as they're floated, I'm freely banknoted. I'm pretty well paid for my trouble.
He's paid for his trouble. At middle-class party, I play at écarté, and I'm by no means a beginner.
She's not a beginner.
To all of my station, the remuneration, 5 guineas a night and my dinner.
And wine with her dinner.
I write letters blatant on medicines patent, and use the other you mustn't.
With me you mustn't.
And though my complexion derives its perfection from somebody's soap, which it doesn't.
It certainly doesn't. We're ready as a witness to anyone's fitness to fill any place of preferment.
A place of preferment. We're often in waiting at junket or fating, and sometimes attend an interment.
We enjoy an interment.
In short, if you kindle the spark of a swindle, your sympathies into your clutches,
yes, into your clutches.
Or hold we got debtor, you cannot do better than trot out a duke or a duchess.
A duke or a duchess. Their Majesties, Your Majesty.
The Duke of Plaza-Toro, I believe.
The same. Allow me to present to you
the young lady one of us married.
Gentlemen, I'm the most obedient servant to one of you. Oh, Luiz.
I am now about to address myself to the gentleman my daughter married. The other may allow his attention to wander if he likes, for what I am about to say does not concern him. Sir, you will find in this young lady a combination of excellences which you would search for in vain in any young lady who had not the good fortune to be my daughter. There is some little doubt as to which of you is the gentleman I am addressing and which is the gentleman who is allowing his attention to wander. But when that doubt is solved, I shall say, still addressing the attentive gentleman, take her, and may she make you happier than her mother has made me. If possible. And now, there is a little matter to which I feel I am entitled to take exception. I arrive here in state with her Grace the Duchess and her Majesty my daughter. And what do I find? Do I find, for instance, a guard of honor to receive me? No.
No.
The town illuminated? No.
No.
Refreshment provided? No.
No.
A royal salute fired? No.
No.
Triumphal arches erected? No.
No.
The bells set ringing?
No.
Yes. One. The visitors. And I rang it myself. It is not enough. It is not enough.
Upon my honor, I'm very sorry. But you see, I was brought up in a gondola, so my ideas of politeness are confined to taking off my cap when my customers tip me.
That is all very well in its way, but it is not enough.
I'll take off anything else within reason.
But a royal salute to my daughter. It costs so little.
I don't want a salute.
My dear sir, as soon as we know which of us is entitled to take that liberty, she shall have as many salutes as she likes.
And as for guards of honor and triumphal arches, you don't know our people. They wouldn't stand it.
Oh, they are very offhand with us. Very offhand indeed.
Oh, but you mustn't allow that. You must keep them in proper discipline. You must impress your court with your importance. You want deportment, carriage.
We've got a carriage.
Manner, dignity. There must be a good deal of this sort of thing. And a little of this sort of thing. And possibly just a soupçon of this sort of thing. Oh, it's most useful and very effective. Just attend to me. You are a king, I am a subject. Very good. I am a courtier, grave and serious, who is about to kiss your hand. Try to combine a pose imperious with a demeanor nobly bland.
Let us combine a pose imperious with a demeanor nobly bland.
Perhaps if anything too unbending, too aggressive, stiff and bland. Now to the other extreme you're tending, don't be seduced and condescending.
Now to the other extreme you're tending, don't be so dreadfully condescending.
Oh, how to please some nobleman sing, but first if anything too unbending, off we go to the other extreme, to confoundedly condescending.
Now a gavotte performs sedately, offer your hand with conscious pride. Take an attitude not too stately, still sufficiently dignified.
Now for an attitude not too stately, still sufficiently dignified.
Oncely, twicely, bowing gracefully every ride. Captain, you've caught it nicely, that is the style of thing precisely.
Captain, you've caught it nicely, that is the style of thing precisely.
Oh, sweet to earn a nobleman's praise, capital both, you've caught it nicely, supposing he's right in what he says, this is the style of thing precisely.
Capital both, you've caught it nicely, that is the style of thing precisely, that is the style of thing, the style of thing precisely.
old birds have gone away and left the young chickens together. That's called tact.
Oh, it's really unfair. We really should explain our situation to the girl.
Then why don't you do it?
I'd rather not. You.
Well, but I don't know even how to begin. Madam, we, that is, several of us.
Gentlemen, I am bound to listen to you, but it is right to tell you that, not knowing I was married in infancy, I am head over ears in love with somebody else.
Our case exactly. We are head over ears in love with somebody else. In point of fact, with our wives.
Your wives? Then you are married.
It's not our fault. We are sisters in misfortune.
Oh, my good girls, I don't blame you. Only before we go any further, we must really arrive at some satisfactory arrangement, or we shall get hopelessly complicated.
Here is the case unprecedented. Here is a king and queen whose heart, ever since marriage was first invented, never was known a case so hard.
I may be said to have been bisected by a profound catastrophe.
Through a calamity unexpected, I am divisible into three.
I may be said to have been bisected.
I am divisible into three. Through a calamity, I am divisible into three.
Oh, mortally soul, how can you call marriage a state of unity, when excellent husbands are bisected, wives are divisible into three? Oh, mortally soul, how can you call marriage a state of unity? Unity! Mortally soul, how can you call marriage a state of unity? Mortally soul, how can you call marriage a state of unity? This
predicting to those whom we adore we can be reunited on one point rather sore, but on the whole delighted.
When others claimed thy dainty hand, I waited.
As prudence, so I understand, dictated.
By virtue of recorded.
Your pure and patient love is now rewarded.
Then